Lois Sicking, Firefighter Math, self-paced math course. Welcome, Lois Sicking.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster Connie, fellow Toastmasters. 35 years ago, I graduated from Texas A&M with a degree in mechanical engineering. I moved to California to work at the San Dimas Technology and Development Center, which is a Washington, D.C. annex, specializing in the development of firefighting equipment. I ran several laboratories there, to include a fire hose laboratory, fire pump, fire engines. Anything that moved water from point A to point B came through my labs. So I came out here in 1989, quickly progressed. I really like being practical and useful to others. So as I progressed in my learning fire equipment design and testing and getting the laboratories up to speed, at that time it was called ISO 9000. So we implemented a quality assurance program. I became one of the experts in the United States on fire equipment. And I was vice president of the NFPA fire. I was vice president of two of the committees. So I worked extensively in fire equipment development. And then back in 1998, 1999, there was a fire out by Sandia Labs where 30 homes were burnt down. This was a controlled burn. What is a controlled burn, you may say? We were clearing vegetation and we elected to do the burn, but it got away from us. It was significant. So we investigated what happened. And we found that not all of our firefighters had the same level of expertise in math, and that some were possibly misreading the graphs and the charts and incorrectly applying equations. And then in our investigation, we also found that there was a need to train our firefighters to, across the spectrum of all math that they would use, from the beginning firefighter up to what we call fire dogs, the fire managers, those that run the incidents. They are the incident commanders. So I was funded through my work at the USDA Forest Service at the San Dimas Technology and Development Program to develop a firefighter math, self-paced math course. As an engineer, and many of you probably already know this, a job well-defined, a problem well-defined is a problem half solved. So we went in and really investigated what was the problem. Long story short, was I developed a team across the spectrum on different disciplines. We had a fire behavior specialist, which determines the fuel, the height of the fuel, and the burn intensity. Then we had Eric McCormick. He's a battalion chief, Engine 24 on the Angeles National Forest. Judy Mall, a high school math instructor. She verified and proofread all of our work. Judy Grunwald was a mechanical engineering technician, and she helped with a lot of the drawings. Mark Zavala helped like Judy did. And then we had Karen Joan Cordova, who was a PhD candidate in mathematics out of UCLA, and she proofed all of our work. She signed off on it. So that's the team, and I led the team. And I think that part of why we were able to define the problem so well and come up with a book like this that really lives on to this day is that we examined all aspects of firefighting. We looked at all the current firefighting modules, and we came up with a consensus on what the problem was. And being a Toastmaster, I also included mentoring. So whoever wanted to improve their math as a firefighter, we ask that you get a mentor and that you touch base with them and that they be someone that you can talk to and have as a reference. So again, we prepared this firefighting module to teach our firefighters math skills across the spectrum. So we had more people eligible to be promoted into fire manager positions, and that we had a crew out there on the ground from hot shots all the way up that knew how to do the math calculations. In this book, it was a book, it still is a book, but now the National Wildfire Coordinating Group has picked it up. And it was first published in 2000, and it was revised here when I was at the Forest Service in 2002. And now the NWCG, the National Wildfire Coordinating Group, has assumed all the rights to this book, and its latest revision was in 2020. In this book, the first 2 chapters are back to the basics. Okay, we found that this is a good review. It's always a good review. And then how to squirt water. Okay, not too original of a, I kind of liked that, squirting water. Okay, here we go, flow rates. Now this is important, and I'll wrap it up here in just a minute. When you're on a fire, sometimes the flame intensity is so strong and there's so much energy in the fire that you cannot put it out with regular firefighters. You need to bring in tankers, or you need to put enough fire hoses on it. You calculate how much water you need to put out the fire. Let's say there's a propane tank there. Okay, you don't want the propane tank to blow up. So what you do is you know how the intensity of the fire, and there are calculations for that. And then you assign, if you need 27 gallons per minute on that propane tank, then you have 3 folks out there with a 1.5-inch inner diameter times a 100-foot fire hose. Okay, there's a science behind all of this. You can tell I'm really excited about this. I am, again, so practical, and many of you know me. That's I like being helpful in that way. What the most recent updates have been in the past few years is, for every equation, I had a sample problem worked out and then exercise problems for you. Most recent updates, they now have Excel spreadsheets in there, and they took my drawings, they took our drawings and put photos. This has been a fantastic endeavor. It was well received. It went into reprint within a year, and it has been now 24 years. 24 years, and it's actively being used now. It's part of the coursework of improving your firefighting skills. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that this would continue to live on up to now and in the future. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Connie.